Now, coming to the topic of investments, I would like to call Arif. Arif, you have had some experience with investments. So we would love to hear from you and share your lessons learned from investments. You will have to unmute yourself, Arif.
Thank you, Hemant, for asking that. Uh, so, I always feel that personal financial management is one subject which is not taught in schools, but is actually something everyone has to deal with in their lives. And because I have not learned in schools, I learned by failing again and again, right? So though the only investment options I had known from my elderlies were invest in properties, right? I did the same, and I tell you, I have never been happy or contented by my decisions when it came to invest in properties. Maybe the timing was not right when I started it, right? Uh, so in my experience, the only people I had seen earning are the brokers, banks, and the government in the whole process of these property transactions, right? And the two big learnings for me are to have as less of liabilities as you can, and never keep all your eggs in one basket, which is one term code which we have been using it since ages. So there are many options to invest your money in low as well as high risk markets. The higher the risk is, the higher the chances of rewards are. Diversification and planning of funds when you are still earning, not when you have stopped earning, but when you are still earning, help to overcome a sudden setback. And reaching out to experts would help in the long run too. So I have learned this very simple principle that start low and go slow. So this simple principle will be helpful in deciding your appetite for risk taking and remain calm even in the adverse situations, which is very important to see through the peaks and troughs of life. Now, we sometimes take drastic steps when we get into lows of life. The high times are all enjoyed, right? We party, we do all those things. But when it comes to lows, we tend to take very damaging steps. And those steps can actually lead to long negative impact on our lives as well as our close ones. Now, so therefore, start low and go slow. So I tell you one story about mine. So once I had a huge liability. I had one huge home loan, and I was not worried all the time, but it felt like a huge burden at times. And to free myself from that burden, it became like one of the long-term goals that I had not planned at all. No, I made several strategies to overcome that. One was to increase my income, to which there are limitations, and then invest some amount in different places every month so that I could build a corpus which can help me relieve from the huge loan I had. Again, depended on my income, but at least I was prepared. I wanted to have an insurance for the same amount in case something happens, but by God's grace, I could clear off the dues without getting into it. Right. So leaving a liability in legacy would be the last thing I wanted to leave for my next generation. Now, the financial instruments that helped me in this time of need were actually the PPF, the various kinds of insurances, mutual funds. So these were all basics. As I am financially not that literate, there is a lot of difference in learning theories in books and the implementation that depends on market risk. So my only suggestion to youngsters, as you have already mentioned, is start planning your financial goals as early as possible. Start learning about how much to spend, save, invest, and also leave the legacy depending on your income. And do not put all your eggs in one basket. Now, there are many options which you can learn and make your money work for you. What you have to do is reach out for help. You don't need to be a one-man army. Over to you, Iman.